I believe that we have got to pass comprehensive immigration reform, something that I strongly supported. I believe that we have got to move toward a path toward citizenship. I agree with President Obama, who used executive orders to protect families because the Congress, the House, was unable or refused to act. And in fact, I would go further. What would motivate me and what would be the guiding light for me in terms of immigration reform, Judy, is to bring families together, not divide them up. And let me say this also. Somebody who was very fond of the president, agrees with him most of the time. I disagree with his recent deportation policies, and I would not support those. Bottom line is a path toward citizenship for 11 million undocumented people. If Congress doesn't do the right thing, we use the executive orders of the president.
All right, hold on. Let's pause there. Bernie Sanders is going for the idea that he is wanting immigration reform for the immigrants, which meaning that the immigration reform that stands out would be the issue of the deportation and limiting that deportation for the undocumented immigrants here in the United States, and so that these undocumented immigrants should have a pathway towards citizenship, and that would be his immigration reform. Alright, let's now hear Hillary Clinton's ideas about immigration reform.
I am against the raids. I'm against the kind of inhumane treatment that is now being visited upon families, waking them up in the middle of the night, rounding them up. We should be deporting criminals, not hardworking immigrant families who do the very best they can and often are keeping economies going in many places in our country. I'm a strong supporter of comprehensive immigration reform, have been ever since I was in the Senate. I was one of the original sponsors of the DREAM Act. I voted for comprehensive immigration reform in 2007. Senator Sanders voted against it at that time because I think we have to get to comprehensive immigration reform with a path to citizenship. And as president, I would expend enormous energy, literally call every member of Congress that I thought I could persuade. Hopefully after the 2016 election, some of the Republicans will come to their senses and realize we are not going to deport 11 or 12 million people in this country, and they will work with me to get comprehensive immigration reform.
Alright, Hillary Clinton, you made your point on immigration ideas. I think everyone knows that you really want that immigration change to where the 11 million immigrants will not be deported, and you only want to capture the criminals that are here in the States that are immigrants. Let's see what Donald Trump thinks.
Okay, how do you take 11 million people and make them leave?
Fine, you'll do it. It's all a package. Number one, we're going to build a wall. We're going to have people come into the country. I agree, okay. But let's go through it. We're going to build a wall. It's going to be a real wall. It's going to be a wall that's powerful and that people aren't going to be going under or up or around or anything else. It's going to be a real wall. And we're going to have a door in the wall. People are going to come into the country legally. And we're going to hopefully get a lot of people coming in, and they're all going to come in legally. We're going to get rid of the bad ones because we have some really bad ones in here right now. And you know that gang members in L.A., you look at some of these gangs, they're 100% illegal immigrants. They're going to be gone, okay? And they're going to be gone fast.
Are you sure they're 100% illegal immigrants? What about all the gangs that are actually here in America that are actually U.S. citizens?
And they're not going to be in our prisons for us to take care of them. Our prisons are bursting with illegals right now.
What about the law-abiding majority? That's
now you have people that came in illegally,
yes,
and they're called illegal immigrants, and they're here illegally. They're going to have to go, and they're going to have to come back in legally. And otherwise, we don't have a country. And if we don't do that, we don't have a country. They're going to have to go, and they're going to have to come in legally. They're going to have to come in through a system.
Well, there you have it, folks. You have Donald Trump's point of view on immigration and his own immigration policy. If he ever became president, he would want Mexico to build a wall and make them pay for it and have 11 million undocumented immigrants be deported. My question is, where does he get that money? It's probably going to be the taxpayers' money. Well, I digress. Let's see what my friend Kim here thinks about Donald Trump and his ideas about immigration and his policy.
I don't think that's acceptable. because America throughout history, it's like a place of, it's an American dream to get here, and many people want to come here because of the opportunities that they can't obtain in their own countries, like I myself. And for you to deport those immigrants that are here, or maybe who lived here all their lives, it's really not acceptable morally, because they've lived here for a long time. They established their lives, and perhaps they've been good residents here. They're not criminals. They're not. So it doesn't make sense why he would want to do that. And for you to close the country for us, like to help other country, like the Syrian refugees, it's not like, I don't know why would a person would think he should do that. Like, America is a very prosperous country, and there's not a lot of other countries that could help them. So, I don't think it's acceptable.
I agree with you, Kim. Why would anyone deport people who lived here all their lives and contributed to the country? But what makes immigrants so unique and so targeted? What is their purpose?
Well, I have nothing against undocumented immigrants, except that they came here illegally. But then for those people who have lived their lives here, I believe that they're really good residents here, because first, if like they don't do crimes, because if they do, then they would get deported. It's like double jeopardy. But then and then they actually like help us economically, because they do jobs that Americans don't want to do. Like, they're here for a purpose. Like, they don't just come here to live the American dream. Like, yes, they do, but I mean, they have purpose for it. They come here to earn money, and they come here to be better, to be in a better position in their financial status. And I don't think there's nothing wrong with that, except that they just went to that route because there's just no other way to go here. But then, people, we can justify their, well, we can justify their stay here by being like good immigrants or good residents. And I think that's what the country is needing.
Alright, thanks Kim for talking about the purpose of undocumented immigrants and how they're unique and being able to serve their purpose also here in the United States, even contributing to the economy. And to be able to prove that not all undocumented immigrants are criminals or in gangs, as Donald Trump would say. So let's hear what Jay's purpose is coming into America.
I traveled to America so that I can be with my wife. She did not want to stay in Iran about 30 years ago because of the revolution, which is the reason I sold my businesses to come here and to provide for my family. Due to the corruption in Iran at the US Embassy, coming here to America was pretty quick as long as you had the right amount of money to bribe US officials.
Alright, so we have Jay here that was originally from Iran, but he went to the United States only because his wife did not want to be in the country of Iran anymore because there was a revolution. So they, as a family, wanted to get away from all this violence and all this revolution that's going on in the country, all the wars, so they decided to flee. And he also had to bribe US officials 30 years ago and got US citizenship too. So what about these candidates? What about what they have to offer and what they believe in? So what does that mean for our immigrants here in the United States? Do they get a path to citizenship? Or do they just get deported? No matter what the circumstances or situation is because of their status. Can these candidates be a hope for these immigrants? That's all up to you, the people, to find out with your vote.